Alright, so this is the finished book. We're going to do our last couple pages, and I'm going to remove these tags. We have a neat little pocket here. We're going to remove this picture mat and this. This has 3 pockets. This one, we have this one, and this one. Okay? So, if you have been following the tutorial, because I put aside my new pad and I've got everything up to this point of what's been used or I've used. If you've been following along, you should have the following papers left in your pack besides your other cuts, which I have off to the side. You should have this one still, this one, and a second one. And this is the one that we want to pull. And we do want to turn it like this, okay? It's going to say moments with you up to the left-hand corner, and then the majority of the flowers down here. I'm going to cut it at 6 inches right down the middle. Alright. Your left-hand side is right here. You are going to cut a piece of black cardstock that is 5 3/4 inches tall, and then it's 8.5 wide here. Okay. And I've already done my trim after I made my cut. Then what we're going to do is we're going to center and glue down a scrap piece. And I know this is 6 inches wide. And on the back was just something like this. And it's going to go right there. So I'm going to glue that down. Okay. The next step is you will notice in your paper pack you have this. Okay. What you're going to want to do is use your paper cutter, slice this down, slice it across. You want this panel. So now what I'm going to do is, and I got this panel ready to go, I'm going to glue this down, and then we're going to move on to how we create the dip in here. And you will need your circular punch, and you will need another piece of black cardstock, but first we're going to trim this up. Alright, so here's my panel. This is glued down. I want to go put this piece right up to the top. Okay, and what I'm going to do is take a pin now, and I'm going to go ahead and make a mark so I know where to cut it across. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to fit a piece of black cardstock behind it like so, but I'm not going to glue it down yet. I'm just going to trim it up. So you should have this now, okay? And it's going to fit, just like so. This is the easiest way that I do it, and I know that they make other devices. I'm pretty sure that's a little bit easier. I go, and we are supposed to have the flowers up at the top, so all I do is I turn my circular punch over. I remove the plastic, so I don't care about that part on there. And then I just came down so far, just a little bit. I think I'm centered there. And I punched it. Okay. Next thing is I just kind of went like this. And I wanted to hold it together where it's supposed to be, as best I can. I put the paper punch here, but I'm not going to punch over my pretty paper. I'm just going to kind of go right above that point, and of course I'm right there, so that tells me I want to go down a little deeper and move it, and that's good enough right there. Now I'm ready to glue this these two pieces together. I'm not going to glue it down yet. Okay. So here we are. If you don't have a rounder punch, what I suggest doing is first cutting your pretty paper in a dip and then mounting your black cardstock behind it and then just using that dip as a guide. That's the old-fashioned way. That's how I used to do it before I got the little rounder punch that helped me out. So now it's time to put this down, okay? And it's the score tape, of course. And you're gonna go down one side. There's nothing different about how we're putting this on. Just want to make sure my head isn't in the camera so you can see what I'm actually doing. It's one thing is you're not going to get a professional tutorial video because I'm not I'm getting better. I'm learning. They'll get better as we go on. But at least we get something. So now we are right about here, and I'm going to scoot this over. And I'm going to go ahead and take the score tape off, and my head is going to get in the way for just a moment while I line this up. Okay? And I just want to make sure my sides and my top are going to be okay here. I think I got it down. The next thing is you are going to find in your pile another one of these little cards. On the back is that dark purple paper. I think it's the last page in your book is what we were cutting on. If you can't find this exact one, there are other ones that are this side, or just use something else. But check both sides, look for it, and then you're going to cut a piece of black cardstock to mount behind it because this is a pocket. We're going to go ahead and put the score tape around the three sides, and we're going to go ahead and put it down like so. Okie dokie, I've got mine down. The only thing left to do is run some score tape right down here, place this down, and wrap our edges behind. And we're ready for the very final page. All right, last page is a cinch, and you've already got your right side, so we're going to come up about 8 inches and cut that. Okay, so there it is. Let's take a look. We have one large fold out like we did in the beginning of the book, and you should have this pretty colored map that's already sized for you, and here it is. It's actually on the back of this green. So I'm going to cut that out. Need that. The inside is the other half of this. We're going to need that. You just got done on this page doing the cutting the square 6x6s, and this is this. And then of course we have trim, we have a pretty ribbon backed behind all this. So let's go ahead and get started on it. First things first, your main page to the right, the flowers are down. Okay, you are going to want a good size piece of black cardstock, and working on another pack I've had, so I'm going to get into this. And this is done just like we've done before in previous pages. I'm just going to kind of take it like this. I'm going to make sure there is an inch little flap. I'm just going to go ahead and then I'm going to cut it across the bottom. Here is my score pal. Trying not to get in your way so you can see what I'm doing again. We've already done this previously in the book. You just kind of make sure there's a little bit black showing, and then you find the nearest gore indent. And I'm going to go here and get in the way just a moment. And I'm going to do two of them. And I did two right side by side. Alright, so I'm just going to go ahead and push my flap over. And I am going to go ahead and glue that down. The flowers go to the right. And on the inside, we have the same thing. So let's go ahead and glue that down. Okay, I got mine down. And I am going to go ahead and attach my fold out. And it's sitting right there in the middle. Trying to stay out of the way, and I've got everything sticking to me. So I notice my head does get in the video a few times. I'm trying not to get my head in there so I can see a little bit better. Alrighty, so putting it right in the middle, butting that right on up. That's good. And there's our fold out. Now for this mat, okay, inside the album, we are going to cut that down to approximately 5, let's see, that was 5, if I can get it, it'd probably work better if I just grabbed it. Okay, let's start with the black picture mat. I got 5 and 1, 2, 3, 7/16. So, and then that's 5 and 7/16, 5, 5 and an 1/8. So I am going to go ahead and grab these piece of black cardstock here just to make sure I have enough. 5 and 7/16, 1, 2, 7. And then, so that's wide, and then I said, for that, short-term memory lost, 5 and an 1/8. Okay. Oops. There it is. And for the green, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 1, 2, 3/8. And I'm going to actually cut it on this side. 5 and 3/8. 1, 2, 3. Let's see if that works. I may be off a little bit. Let me get my stuff out of the way. Is that wide? That's wide. Let's see. Well, darn right, perfect. And then, of course, we're going to need to trim the top. And we need to be 5 inches down. So, looking at this, we're going to cut 5 inches. Now, I think I did okay there. Okay, so I have this. And now all I need to do is round my corners. If you want to round your corners, that is. And I do. And then I'm going to go ahead and glue these two together. And then we're going to do our ribbon. We are on the home stretch here. I've got my crinkle ribbon. And you're gonna need, you know, it's hard to tie at certain lengths. So what I did was, that album there, I had it up at the top. So what I'm gonna do is I got a piece of ribbon that I can work with the size. And being that the bow is over here, I wanted to leave enough room so I could tie. So this is where I need to be. And I'm gonna just flip it over. And just put a little glue so that it stays put. Okay. And I think before I put it in the album, what I want to do is to do this bow. Be a little bit easier for me, and hopefully I won't get too much in the picture. I usually do it very tight because it usually lets out a little on me. Now at this point, I can snip it to whatever size I want. Now, that's good enough. Alrighty, home stretch. Where's my thingy blobber? I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. Why is my thing like that? I gotta fix it. That's good. I'm going to go ahead and glue it down so that my flap is going to go over. I'm going to bring it down a little bit. I do need to put my trim, so it might be wise. Not sure how wide your trim is, but with mine, oops, I'm down to the last bit. And I have some snipping to do here, but it's going to fit right about there. I'm going to glue that down, so then my map's going to go right there. And we are done, and then we're going to go ahead and place it inside the album. We're at the final steps here, and we are ready to go ahead and get this going. You have your little clasp here. Get some ribbon, just cut off a little bit, and turn it so that the hook part's in the back. Okay, because how it's going to go is just like this. Okay, so all I do is I put it in through this, pull it, and then that way I can adjust. I pull the sides like so. Make sure, I'm hoping you can see this. Let me turn it just like this. It's hooked, and when I know it's straight, which I do, I pinch it, I put a dab of hot glue. With this one I have the little floppies coming down, so I just kind of twist it over the back. And on this particular one, a little more hot glue, and I went and like so. That way, whoops, and like that. And then for my final was the wheel, if I can find it again when I'm done with it. My wheel. I have to find my wheel. Okay, so I found my wheel, and I used the E6000 and I glued it down. Now what I'm going to do, and I unattached it, is I'm just going to clip it and let it dry. And then we are done here, and you have a bunch. I'm not going to hang around for the picture mats because you don't need me for that. You have paper left over in your book. You have a ton of beautiful picture mats, papers that are already pre-sized, plus you have your own to cut whatever you want. You should have some of your tags left over, and just a variety here. So mount them on the black cardstock. The bigger panels, of course, they're going to go in the wider wraparound type pockets. And we are done here, and I want to thank you very much for taking the time to view the tutorial. If you made the album along with me, your album should be exactly like what I had in front of you. And those of you that did take the tutorial, maybe use different paper, I hope you loved the design. You'll be able to get a lot of different photos in this album. And if you were just here to get some design ideas or some inspiration, I hope you got that. Thanks, and until the next time, see you later.